Hello, folks. I'm going to take a break from painting today. And today, I'm going to be doing readings and knitting. I do love knitting. Knitting is one of my favorite things to do. And there's plenty of really good knitting streams over here. I started doing this when I was in my 20s. And it is very relaxing. It really is. Where I do like an hour stream because I'm going to start on a blanket project soon. I was telling my husband about the blanket project. I have a big ball of yarn someone gave me that's black, so I figure I'd do a blanket possibly. But I don't know, just gotta be in the mood to do a sketch today. I'm just too tired right now. My brain can't process sketching. But I really wanted to start my little knitting project, and I know I haven't been on for a while, so I'm doing a border for my blanket. And when you do these kind of borders, once you learn basic knitting, you just kind of bring it down as long as you want. And then I'm gonna get a sewing kit and I'm gonna make me an anime blanket. Because I'm sure I can get patches or make patches with different animes. Because the husband loves anime, so that's on my to do agenda. But work wasn't bad. Sometimes it brings you into a different kind of reality, like your life isn't, you're not gonna live forever type thing. Whenever I go to work, it humbles me. It really does. Work is a very humbling experience, and I think it is humbling for everybody, especially when you're in the medical field. Sometimes me and my friends will like, oh, this is going to be us when we get older. Because it is true. We see the end game. I see every game. And it just makes you make use of every day you have. Because I think people sometimes they just forget that one day that they're going to be in that position. And I think if people were a little bit nicer and more humble, they would be nicer. To be nicer and a good person, you got to be humbled. And maybe that's why little things in life happen to us. I mean, I've had things happen to me that other people have done to me, and I've put it behind me because life isn't. You're supposed to be humbled, and you're not supposed to be so selfish in life. And if you think you're better than everyone else, something happens to you that really takes you under. It could be losing your husband, your girlfriend, or whatever, but sometimes these humbling experiences shape us. But the saddest things I see in the world is that's more important than any of our feelings. Oh, hello, hi, yeah. I get in these moods when I go to work seeing sick people and these sad dog videos. I really do. It seems like when life hits you, like when you see all these, when the people that You see our great people are sick and ready to die. It just makes you what it's you're not afraid to die, which I'm not, but it just knows you're that much closer. And I feel if you get real close to what you do in life is how you get treated in death. And there's a lot of good medical workers, and we might come across mean at times, but we treat them like regular people. We don't treat them like they're crippled and this and that. We don't. Because when you take care of them day in and day out, and you're the person that they look to for comfort, you realize if you're an asshole, that's it. The experience you're going to have when you meet your maker is not going to be good. And it's not. And that's the thing about abuse. It could be with the elderly, it could be with animals, it could be with anything. The thing with animals that really, I know that everybody knows that I'm big on animals, but there's a science behind it. Oh, hi. Hi, Finn. How are you? But there is a science behind it, and it's animals are supposed to teach us how to love. And the people that are mean to animals a lot generally are your are your serial killers or just you're not good people. And this is, I mean, and the stuff I have, I know I'm on YouTube, and everything I say is moderated, but it's in psychology books. It really is. It's not really, there's not really good nor bad people. It's people that haven't learned their lessons. And the thing is, if you were really mean to a dog, let's say, because I just seen one that was tied up and put in a blanket, I hear on YouTube, you do that and you're capable of doing that. The thing is anything can happen to you when you get older. Anything. Anything can happen to you before you get older. And I don't have the answers to why people sometimes get eaten by sharks and stuff, just like that kid in Australia, they got eaten by a shark and things. But sometimes bad things happen to good people, but yeah, they're good people, but we don't know them personally. Sometimes things happen to teach you a lesson, and if you can learn your lessons, sometimes you don't have to be taught. And honestly, I don't try to make God angry. I feel that we're here to try to do what God wants us to do, whatever that may be. And I think it's a test every time you see an animal or a person or somebody in need, or my favorite, the homeless people. You see on YouTube, but these YouTubers, they do those social tests all the time. I forgot his name, but he's really nice. And when you're mean to somebody that doesn't have a house and you say that dirty homeless people or whatever, sometimes life can make you homeless just to humble you. I mean, anything bad can happen to anybody. And it just makes my heart sad when I see all this stuff going on in the world. And I mean, I wish for a utopia, but I don't think it'll ever happen. But I guess I can strive for awareness because that's really what I want to do is strive for awareness of a better planet and just us being more aware of things. Because if you spread hate, you get hate. And I did take years of psychology, years of it. I really did. And psychology states that if you can hurt an animal, you can hurt a human. And when you go talk to a psychiatrist and somebody says so and so tortured an animal or whatever, you're automatically, with that psychiatrist, when they put the notes down, and I'm telling you this from a medical standpoint, they literally, they label you. There's all kinds of different labels, and it's usually a mental condition, and they will label you as that. And some people, it's under influence, or they did it because I don't know the reasons, but whatever the reasons, you get labeled because that kind of behavior gets classified, and sometimes it can go to the cops, and they'll say, "Well, yeah, so and so beat up his wife and everything, but they starved an animal. They were involved in an animal abuse case," and that's, I think, why they're getting a little bit harder and stricter on this, because we all know about Jeffrey Dahmer. We all know about Jeffrey Dahmer. He started out torturing animals. This is true facts. Anybody that could beat the crap out of an animal, torture them, dissect them, could grow up to be the biggest serial killer of all times. And most of the kids that was involved in these school shootings. Oh, I'm knitting for a blanket project that I'm doing. I had an idea. I have friends that are really, really good quilters and knitters, way better than me, way better than me. And but I'm not as good as them when it comes to like Amish style stuff. But what I'm doing is I'm creating a border, and I'm gonna take a regular fleece blanket, and I'm gonna be doing it on here, my knitting project, and but this is just gonna be on the border, and then I'm gonna get patches with the anime characters. And if I'm not, I'm just gonna buy patches and just take I'm gonna iron it on. And then I'm gonna take this on the borders, and I'm gonna hand sew it. And then the little patches I'm gonna take with my husband's favorite fleece blankets that I get from Amazon and use it for the inside. And I figured, instead of competing with everybody else that I know that have it makes these fantastic blankets, which I don't think I'm ever going to be able to do like that, I might as well do it with some style. And that's my idea. And my husband said that he would even get me a sewing kit. So I'm going to probably get a beginner sewing kit, because I would like to get a singer. I always heard those were the best, but I'm going to get a basic beginner's one and see what they have on Amazon, which I'm an Amazon Prime member. So I'm sure they're going to be half price for me. And I'm going to start making curtains and stuff, because some of these things I've been noticing, your household things, they're so expensive. There's some curtains that are $80, and you can make curtains for way cheaper. And honestly, I just, to the point where I need something to do with my hands, because I don't know if y'all know, but I'm high functional autistic, and that's why I know all these different facts about things, and that's why I'm a little more sensitive in the world. Because not all autistic people are stupid. Albert Einstein was autistic. But the way our brain works, it goes on a whole other level. Whole other level. I mean, when I think of animal abuse, the first thing that pops in my head is serial killers and things like that. If I knew that my child was torturing animals, the first thing they would do is go to a mental hospital. That is the first thing that would happen. Because I would want to know what human they're going to torture later on in life. But this is an autistic brain thinking this, and I don't think I'm that far off, because I do have a lot of knowledge in my head, and it's always taking it to the next level. So this is why, folks, I'm always up here doing crafts, because this is what I do. And it helps calm me. And for any of those people that out there, any of the people out there dealing with someone with autism, if you keep their mind occupied, they're real nice. When I was at the kids' home, and I'm kind of big on abuse because I took care of my people. And anyways, we had slow kids too, a lot of people on the spectrum. And the thing is, there was one lady. She got and this little girl got brought to us because she chained her daughter because she had behavior issues. She literally take and she would chain her to the railing of the basement they had when she would act out. And she wasn't as high functional as me. But the thing is with an autistic person, the things that you can do to stop the acting out is simple. They can't be around a lot of yelling, aggression, and negativity because we're more sensitive. And and there's certain materials that I like more than others. I like to make these kind of things with yarn because I like the material. Sometimes when I have a gold or silver, I don't like it because I feel like I'm being choked and I don't like the way it feels on my skin. I can wear my wedding ring, which has gotten way too my I lost so much weight I have to wear a different finger, but I can wear that. But when it comes to around my neck, I'm real funny about the material. And I like lights. Like certain kinds of lighting. I like shiny, pretty lights and Himalayan salt lamps because it calms me. Because out of everyone in society, I want to say autistic people are the most sensitive. And the thing is, we can't stand a lot of negativity because we're already hypersensitive. So, but yeah, that would be, and I probably know interesting facts all the time because autistic people can tell you weird stuff like this. This is what we do. That's a fun day for me to find out statistics on serial killers and stuff because I, in my mind's eye, want to know how somebody could hurt a beautiful creature and not bat an eye. It's disturbing to me on a lot of different levels. I just don't like it. And I don't and to me I see them in the beauty that they are in. I see people all the time. They don't want to get their dogs good dog food because they say that they have to pay this, they have to pay that. I don't have a car because if I was to pay the maintenance to get a car and all this stuff, which I could get a car. I let my driver's license go after my first divorce. I'm on my second marriage now, but I could get my license back very easily. I don't drink. So, but the thing is my animals wouldn't have that good of food right now. And for me, it's more important that they have a happier life than me because I have shopping apps. They got wholesome foods on Amazon. And they go to the store for you and everything. I would rather go on a shopping app and sacrifice a little bit for the innocent in my house than have for myself. And a lot of times I think autistic people are more selfless. And I try to make sense of everyone else. So the thing that comes in my mind is what kind of horrible person could do this. So I decided, and I did go to college. High functional autistic people are very smart and they do well in college. So I went to college and a couple things. It's just I can't handle being a nurse. They got too much going on. I would be overwhelmed if I was a nurse. I really would. Because you have all the accounts and then there's nursing politics. For an autistic person, I mean, I could do it, but I don't know if it's something I want to be in a high stressful career. I kind of like this career. Even though I technically am working in nursing in a technical field, I just don't want to go any further because honestly, I like coming up here and I want to try out this live streaming thing. And maybe I could bring awareness to autism, and I could bring awareness just to why people do bad actions because I did study forensic science for a while. And when you study that, you study the psychosis of the killer. And when I see all of these things where people are, in the way these animals were executed and how they were treated before they were rescued, I'm looking at a whole lot of potential killers in the world, a whole lot of them. And sometimes I'd be terrified to come out my door. If there's people out there tying people, tying dogs, and cutting off their legs, like in some of these videos, and if this is true that they're doing all of this, that means they can easily rape or murder anybody. And that's not a good thing in life to have. It's not. And these are not good people to hang out with. I mean, it really is bothering. It bothers my soul. And I feel bad for the poor creatures that come across these people, and they think they're cool as they're doing this to these animals. And the thing is if you think that that's a good activity, it's eventually one day you're going to hurt a human. And then we have all these people in jail for these violent crimes. Possibly they all need mental help. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm autistic, so I can't tell you the real reason, but maybe they do it to be cool or whatever. But they come across with the diagnosis of a serial killer every single time they do it. And it makes you more immune in the world to just acts of kindness. It's sad. I mean, I don't know if our world's ever going to get back to where it's nice again, but I will tell you 20 years ago it was a lot nicer than it is now. I didn't have to lock my front door. I'll tell you that. I was able to ride my bike. I didn't have to worry about getting abducted. Yeah, there was, I'm sure there was human trafficking and things like in the 80s and 90s. I'm sure there was. But it wasn't to the point where it is now, where they're taking kids right in front of your house. And drugs was around. Yeah, we had cocaine and stuff, but it wasn't like the stuff we got now. And I mean, it's sad. And I'm not saying that we're in the middle of like a hell and this and that, like some spiritualists are calling for. I just think we need to go in a stage where we're more aware of the energy we're putting out. And I mean, that's how I'm in my mind it's going, but I don't think there's actual demons. I think we are the ones that choose if we're a demon or not. And these are true facts. Because if you look at psychology, it's like that. You could go against a bad idea. If it doesn't look good or feel good to you, an idea, just don't go with it. Because I don't like dealing with that kind of nastiness in my life. I don't really talk to many people. Honestly, I think the most conversation I have with anybody is maybe three friends at work and you guys, and that's it. Because I don't know what to think about the world. I go out someplace, you go on YouTube and you see all these videos where what people are doing in the world, and they're not doing good things. And I'm thinking the person that tortured that dog or cut off his legs, they're they're somewhere in this world because And that's it. And there was this pit bull story I found over here, and I wanted to share with you. I forgot his name, but it was a rescue group over here. I subscribe to all of them. I do. Every single rescue group, I subscribe to them because I think they do very good work. But this poor pit bull, she's a beautiful white pit bull. Her entire life, the owner, it said on the post, beat her and beat her ferociously. And it was like that for years. And then when the rescue workers got there, she couldn't see. Her eyes were closed, and there was all kinds of problems. And then they went and did all these surgeries and stuff. They went after the owner, and the owner, all he said was, "I get a little hot tempered," and he didn't think he was going to go to jail or nothing. And they couldn't restore the pit bull's eyesight. They said it was from years and years and years of abuse. And she was in the hospital, the dog hospital, for 2 months. And one of the rescue workers ended up taking her home and adopting her. And the guy went to jail for like 10 years, something like that. But why would, if, I mean, I have a big dog. We all know this. I got 2,000 videos. I couldn't think about my first thought waking up, I'm going to hurt my dog. And it's not an excuse to be short tempered. It's not. That's who you are. If you wake up literally beating the crap out of your kids and your dog and stuff, and you think it's okay and go to work, and you think it's going to be status quo when you get home, I don't know what's wrong with these people. That's what's wrong with the world. No one takes a personal accommodation. They don't take it's like they don't take any kind of consideration of what they're doing is wrong, and they think it's okay. And none of it's okay. And I'm never going to be on that side. Never. Because I don't understand why anybody would want to do that. And I mean, that's between them and God, but that's what's wrong. And then everybody, when they finally do go to jail or whatever for these horrendous acts, they try to get out of it. And they think that it was okay for them to make a pit bull blind and beat them for years. And they do it. There was another story where they chained another pit bull, and they were laughing at him and tormenting him, and cut off his legs, his two front paws. I mean, his two legs, all of his legs, and then left him in a field crying with no front legs. And it was right here on YouTube. And the thing is, I do want to save these animals, yes, but my thing is, where's those people? Nobody needs to talk to them people, because if they're going to do that to an animal and be able to go through that whole horrendous act and be okay with it, I don't think they're fit for anybody to be around. I don't think they're fit to be around a woman, a child, or anything, because I'm in the medical field, and there's verbal abuse, and I take abuse seminars all the time, folks. And the thing is in the patient's bill of rights, and I will tell you this, and YouTube can look it up and all that, but it was revised by, I think it was Clinton. And the thing is if you take somebody's property or humiliate them, it's abuse. And they have like 50 of things that are considered abuse. And the thing is people are doing these things all the time. And it's literally registered by law as abuse. You cannot do that to a patient because it's abuse. And the thing is why is it allowed if we're not allowed to do this to a medical patient? You should not be able to do this to a human or an animal, because we all feel. We do. And just like my husband always says, he thinks that Chong was a human in a former life. And if that's true, and the reincarnation is true, in the next life, you may be a dog. If you abuse a dog, or let's say you abuse women, in the next life you might be a woman. This might be how this goes, this karma thing. I don't know, but I've been trying to research this karma thing. I really have. Because this karma thing is fascinating to me. You go on any form of social media, the first thing they talk about is this karma. Karma, karma, karma. That's all you hear. And in my autistic brain, I'm like, I got to find out about this karma. We got to see what's the hype. Why everybody's talking about this karma. And I'm thinking it's possible we do have reincarnation. And if that's the case, maybe the next time maybe you don't come back as a human. Maybe you do come back as an animal sometimes to teach you a lesson. And maybe the animals that, if we go on that, and it's all hypothetical, don't, this is literally hypothetical. I don't know if this is true because I don't know karma. But if it's true and it does state, a lot of people say in the karma rules that what you do unto others gets done unto you, which is said through the Bible and said through a lot of things. It is said through Wicca, it's said through a lot of religions. The energy you put out there comes back, and it's all said in different ways. If that's true, and let's say your whole life you was killing people and doing all this awful stuff to people and nobody was ever to catch you, who's to say in the next life you're going to be something that you abused? And the person that you did abuse in their next life will forget about all the abuse and get blessed with a great life. I mean, we don't know. And the thing is people kind of go around and they act like they're gods of their own universes. We're not. We're totally not. And it does state in Satanism that we're gods of our own universes and we control everything. We don't. We don't control nothing. I don't control if I'm going to wake up alive. I don't control a damn thing in my life. The only thing you control is what you're doing the here and now when you're making up your decision of what you want to do for the day and what good you want to spread for the day or what bad you want to spread for the day. And I think the energy out there judges you by how you choose to dictate the energy that was given to you for that day. I really do. But this is just me. I don't know these karma rules, but I know there has to be some kind of rule with it. And there has to be just something. I've been trying to research and think about this topic. I've asked people, but I really think that, I mean, if the reincarnation thing is, if we want to go with that, possibly, or just possibly a lot of, if you go on the Gaia network, or Gaia, I don't know what it is. I'm always mispronouncing it, and I do get a subscription for that. I mean, a subscription, sorry. I'm still in medical mode, but they do say the energy put out there, if there isn't reincarnation, then if you're looking at that rule that's stated through the Bible and everything, that would mean it comes in this lifetime. So I guess they say to have a happy life, have a happy wife. Maybe just do good things and have a happy life, because we're discrediting priests and people that decided they don't want to get married. And I've taken care of people and clergy, and the end game for them is pretty damn nice. They have a nice hospital room. They have all their religious things around them. And they don't suffer as much as everyone else. Because unfortunately I'm there to for all the suffering. And some people do suffer a whole lot. And then I'll find out that they cheated on their wife, or they had a whole other family and things like that. And their suffering is great. And there's nothing we could do to alleviate their suffering. I mean, we can give them drugs and stuff to calm their pain and this and that. But in the medical community, some things we cannot make you walk again. And my thing is how you get that way. And then a lot of the people sometimes that get these horrific things happening to them and then they end up by us, sometimes they've done some messed up things. We got one guy that's in a real bad state and he was really kind of, he had a whole other family and this was, God, they got married 1940s and I was taking care of him. And I can't say his name, I can only say his story. But he ended up, and I went to go clean him up because he peed himself and all this stuff. And, anyways, when I did that, he was grasping on this one cross. And I go, okay. I go, who gave you that cross? And it was his first wife. And she won't speak to him because when they found out about the secret family, they had control over all of his money. So she left, doesn't, and did not speak to him. He's on hospice and dying. The son from that side that controls the money speaks to him, but he straight up told his dad he hated him, and he hopes that he suffers, and nobody visits him, and the man's probably going to die alone with just one of us. I mean, he makes sure he has pop or whatever he wants because he's in control of his money. But the family, his girlfriend, you might as well say technically his girlfriend because he couldn't have two wives. She has nothing, and that family's penniless. And the first family that has all the control of everything is giving them nothing, period. So they're ghosted. And he had a couple kids by her. So all those kids are mad because he was supposed to be with their mom. And he has this whole thing, and now he's dying alone. And he's so sad. And I asked him, well, I was trying to talk to him because I talk to everybody. I see suffering and I try to alleviate suffering. This is my thing I do. So I just think about these things and I felt bad for him. And even if somebody did something really horrific and their times before they die, I believe the dead should have dignity, even if you murdered thousands and millions of people. I feel that God's going to torture you enough. And I don't judge people. I don't. And I held his hand and I reassured him where the cross was and he said, "I hope God gives me peace in the end." And I said, "God will in the end." And I asked him why he said that, and he says he sees God, and God tells him, shows him all the suffering that he gave his family. He really, and honestly, if you show people, maybe that's how God does it. He shows you the suffering and you feel the suffering. I don't know. Could be, or it could just been regret. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm just here to say that possibly this could be it. And I'm very inquisical about things. I really am. And I guess if you're one of these people that say you're hot tempered and all that, maybe you should just reconsider having that hot temper because it's terrible to die alone. I will tell you that. And it's terrible to die with just the nurses. And they say it's terrible for dogs to die alone. I would say it would be terrible for anyone to die alone, being animal or human, because we're creatures of socialization. But I am here for tarot card readings also. I'm just getting some of my knitting project going here. And then I'm probably going to try to get my hair done nice and stuff, but I figured I'd work a little on my knitting. And then I'm probably gonna come back on and do that. I don't know. Probably just do something different. But yeah, I mean, and I'm just talking to you guys as just real people here because I just feel that, I mean, one of my many thoughts, I just feel that maybe we should try to really think about things because I do. And that's why I don't judge nobody before they're dying. And honestly, it went around. I guess he was touching one of his granddaughters or something, and everybody was calling him a pedophile. And I know that he was a womanizer. I know he was, but I still showed him the graciousness of that you should, because no priest came to see him. I mean, he was Catholic. Not one priest was there. So I prayed with him. And the thing is I don't know, and it's not for me to judge why he did those actions, but I feel that the people that were really good maybe were really bad and made bad choices in one lifetime, and in the next lifetime they're super good. So I sat there and prayed. I prayed with him. I think, I think he's alive still. I don't know. He's barely alive, but I don't know. Maybe his story could teach a lesson to somebody and why we should be better people, and maybe that learn from him, because our actions do speak louder than words. And I've heard that my entire life. My mom used to always say that. My mom's like, don't tell me you're sorry. Don't. Actions speak louder than words. And she would get really vigilant about it. She was like, if you're going to say something, you better go through with it and explain why, because you just can't say something. And I could say things all day long and do the opposite, but actions do speak louder than words. If people are out there saying they love you and getting you this and that, and then on top of all that, you go and then they're doing something horrible like they usually do, like if it's a domestic where they belittle you or whatever, they really weren't sorry. They just didn't want the cycle to end. To truly be sorry for something, you want to change it. You do. I want to change the cycle of abuse in the world and try to help people to stop the cycles of abuse, because it goes from one generation to another generation to another generation, and before we know it, it never ends. And this is true clinical facts, because like I said, folks, I've studied years of psychology. You're going to pass it on to your kids. Your kids are going to pass it on to their kids, and then they're going to think it's cool. They do. Like, I mean, I pretty much grew up in a good neighborhood, but I've known people from not so good neighborhoods, and they rep bad behavior. And they think it's okay. They do. They think it's absolutely okay to sit there and belittle people. And if you can belittle people, you're you're spreading hate, and then that hate eventually turns into, I'm going to beat that person's ass or this or that. And then you have all the school bullying. And the thing is we need school. And I know everybody hates school. And but the thing is how are you supposed to be smart? How are you supposed to know your periodic tables if you don't go to school? And then you got all these people terrorizing you when you're trying to learn. That's what schools have turned into, folks. At least where I'm at. Even in the suburbs, it's like that. That's why there's homeschooling now, and it's so popular because you got to learn. You got to learn your science, your math, and so forth. You have to, because But I mean, it is what it is, and you just gotta learn this stuff. So I don't know. I'm just. I guess the world, to me, I wish it was a better place, but I don't. And everybody tells me the world's gone to shit. Just, because me and my friends talk. Because when we grew up, it wasn't like this. As I'm 50, I'm going to be 51, folks. And if the world is going to be like this, it's not good. And the thing is if I don't get rich and famous, I'm okay with that. I'm fine. I just want to try to inspire people to make things better. So, hopefully, I inspire someone to do something. I don't know if I will or not. I don't know if. I mean, I don't know what tomorrow will bring, but I know that the higher power wants me to inspire people to be nicer. So, hopefully, this works out good. And this is honestly one of the main reasons I'm on social media. I have a job. I'm okay with my job and my living and dying the way I'm going to die. But I worry about everybody else around me. I worry about the realm. I worry about how it's going to be for my kids when I leave out here. And that's the thing. My kids tell me how horrible people are these days. And I don't think it really has to be that way. I'm going to tie off this a little bit. I'm going to not slip knot this. But I don't want to sit here and be quiet and say it's okay to do this and that. And I guess I'm the one that if there is somebody on here that likes hurting puppies and cutting people's puppies' legs off, if they don't want to subscribe to me, that's okay. And if they want to tell their friends not to subscribe to me because they want to hurt puppies and hurt cats and humans, that's okay. If I only get a certain amount of subscribers and it's the people that actually give a crap about the world and kindness, I'll stick with my people. I'll stick with the people that actually care. All right, I made a slip knot. I turned it over a couple times and made it real tight, and I'm gonna slip knot the other side. Well, no, this side's slip knotted, but I'm really kind of not good at closing these off because generally this when I do my knitting it's with projects and I use it and I sew with them. Like I sew all these together. I'll make little blocks, which I'm probably thinking about maybe like making curtains. I'm gonna try to make a real long curtain with this. And just like kind of put it on something just to give a good color. I feel that would be good for a curtain. But but yeah, I guess that's what Chong the dog's about because my random thoughts as a autistic person is like this. So because I really do. Oh hello, Golden Car Mahora. I'm so bad about. I'm so horrible at pronouncing names. I am so sorry. I'm sure your name sounds spectacular and way better than Michelle. I was named after my dead aunt that passed away before I was born. And the crazy thing about our family is my grandmother, she had like 8 kids, but all the girls ended up dying before 10 except for my mother. And then my mother ended up dying in her 40s. So I'm one of the longest living. Yeah, you can ask me a question. That's why I'm here. I just like to do other stuff because I'm not the most popular over here, and I'm okay with it. But yeah, that's why I just like to have. I like to do on my little projects while I'm over here. But yeah, lay on your question. But yeah, I the longest. I'm going to be 51, and out of all the girls that was given birth to, my mom was the longest living, and I've outlived my mom, so that's why I always say that. I can see. I've never done a guidance reading, but I can ask the spirits to give you guidance. I mean, I like to help out good people. I do, because this world is insane. It's crazy. I think you know it, or you wouldn't be listening to me and vibing with me if you didn't think it was crazy. It's evil. People are walking around thinking they're their own gods and creating their own demons, and in essence, they're becoming their own demons. And it's terrifying. Terrifying. I mean, we're turning into a dark realm. We're turning this into a dark realm. It's not even, it was a positive realm when Mother Teresa and all the good-hearted people were kind of there, but now that the good-hearted people kind of died off, it's turning into the where the demons have taken over, I guess, and we are the demons, and that's not a good thing, not at all. And I think you vibe with me about that. Oh yeah, see you, Griesby. All these people, these fake ass people, and all the lies. All right, the spirits are giving me a wanting moon for you, and this means that you just got a lot of things that you just have to release, and forgiveness. It's kind of, I like to call it the forgiveness card, a wanting moon. Somebody did something to you that wasn't nice. Pretty much, I'm picking up. And the thing is I've been here with you with this, and I've had to forgive people that were mean to me. And and I remember I was told at this time, you don't forgive for you. You don't forgive for them. You forgive for you. And forgiveness is unselfish act, yes, but it releases you from the negativity they try to impose onto you and makes them you give them their negative energy back through forgiveness. So if somebody did something to you, I'm picking up, and you have to forgive them. And I'm not saying you gotta be their friends. I'm not saying you go over there for coffee. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying that you just simply fully forgive them and keep your distance if you want and move on with your life. But I'm picking that up in your energy. And you got a new moon in Pisces that surrounds the situation with just you being sad because the people weren't nice to you. And you got a full moon in Capricorn. And these two cards represent new moon in Pisces is always about meditation and prayer and stuff like that. So it's maybe they think that it's like a healing card almost. So the spirit world knows that you're going through a healing process, and the hardest part about healing is forgiveness. I will tell you because I've been there, and it's just the way it is. And it's crazy, and I've had to go through it. And I had to fully forgive somebody that was really, really mean to me. And to the point that a lot of people wouldn't have forgave them, and I did. And I did it for me. I didn't do it for them. And now they don't have a very happy life, but they're living the faith that they were supposed to live. The full moon in Capricorn just signifies that you've went through a really tough cycle with somebody that was not so nice to you. But this healing process, my friend, may not it's not going to be overnight. Nothing's overnight. Sometime when I forgave that person that did horrible things to me, it took about a year. I forgave them, and then the healing process took about a year. But I'm a stronger person for it. So I mean, you could always, like, I would, and then you got to worry about the false gods and all that crap. But I would just try to focus on prayer and whatever faith you are, go to church and try to just, if you have to, maybe volunteer at a kid's shelter or something, a kid's home or whatever. Or if you like animals, volunteer there and just try to spread happy vibes. And I feel that you'll be okay. But sometimes good things bad things happen to good people. And when good things happen to bad people, it's always the monkey's paw. And I do know this because it happened. One of my friends from years back that I stopped talking to, there was a person that died, and they had $10,000 on them, and they took the money. And I told them it's not good, and they had good luck for a minute. And then the next thing they know, after they took that $10,000, their daughter died. And it's just like the monkey's paw thing. If you get things and acquire it within a good energy field, you're going to have good events surround you. And if you acquire things from a bad energy field, it's just going to turn on you. And whatever you gain, you're going to lose more. So you might have gained in the short term, but in the long term, you did not gain. That's why I am not a person that's going to yell about subscriptions and I need this and I need a car, because I have two legs. I'll eventually have a car. I ain't worried about it. My mission is to help people to help them keep them positive and not and having everybody not turn themselves into their own personal demon. Because this is what happens. That's why gangs are not a good idea. I get it that people sometimes get bamboozled into these people, but they're not good people because they're using you and they're using your energy to spread their hate. They are. That's really the definition of everything. And I'm here to not spread hate. Chong the dog's about positiveness, and we always will be. Always. And I guess that's just one of my missions in this earth that I'm going to keep doing. And I'm going to keep doing these missions for until I'm able to not talk. I mean, I don't care. I don't sit there and buy all these expensive outfits before I come on here because it doesn't matter what we look like. These are our vessels. On the inside, we're all different. We always are different in our vessels. It's just flesh and blood. You get too attached to flesh and blood, you miss out on the bigger picture. You really do. I mean, eventually, you're not going to look so good. Eventually, you may not be as healthy. And then what are you left with? And then that's where it begins and ends. It really is. So, I just want to impose that on you guys because it is true. It is true. And we are just flesh and blood now, but I believe we have a spirit. The atheists, they will state that we don't. And you just die. But even if you went by, we're atheists, which you got to respect everybody. There's still energy. Even the atheist will tell you that there's energy. And whatever energy you put out there, you get back. Even atheists say that, but they don't think it extends out after death. That's the difference. They just think this is it and we die. And that's okay that they believe that. But I've met some really nice atheists at my work. I've met them and I'm friends with them. They respect that I believe in a higher power, but they don't. But they're real nice people. They believe when you die, and they try to do good things until they die. And why not? That's what we do. We get we live, we spread our whatever gonna our message, and we die, and we I believe we get reborn again to do it again. And if you were really nasty, I believe this karma thing moves in because honestly, if you're nasty enough, sometimes maybe you're not born as a human. So we should be kind to animals because we don't know who that person is. I think, honestly, in Buddhism, they might be right about that. Even though I'm Catholic, I do believe in some Buddhist ways because I do believe that there are souls that are animal souls and they were once human souls. I do believe that. So, honestly, if you're really mean to an animal, you could be, theoretically, they say that people come to you through animals. You could be literally torturing your mom or your dad or something, theoretically. And that because oh, you're welcome. I'm always here for all the good people, but that could be part of the reason. And Buddhism, not, I believe in their ideals, yeah. They might have something, a piece of that question answered. So I guess the next time the people that abuse things think of the Buddhists. The Buddhists say that, that when that happens, you could be torturing somebody you really loved and cared about in another life. So that's a possibility. And I don't know if this goes by punishment or by choice. It doesn't really state that in the Buddhist religion. But regardless, if an animal comes to you, and you're meant to be with an animal, it's your spirit animal. And if you abuse a spirit animal, there's a lot of repercussions in life about that. So, a lot. So, I would just kind of steer clear of that. But I worked on this for about an hour. So, I'm going to put this away and I'm going to come back and work on more of my knitting. And I will see you guys. I'm going to probably end up like fixing myself up a little bit and all that and getting ready for the day. And I will be back. Chong, Daddy just took you out, okay? Daddy went to the restaurant and he took you out. I'm putting my little sticks here. But I'll be back, guys. I'm gonna just do a couple things, maybe eat some food, and I'll be back. But I'm gonna be knitting today, so I'm gonna be on and off of these streams and working on my knitting. So if you're subscribed to me, it will come up. But I'm gonna go ahead and I've just kind of, I had things on my mind, so I figured I'd do a little stream, get some things out. And I will be back, and you guys have a terrific day.